When we start, I think maybe you lean back a little bit, Josh, so you don't touch your desk.
Yeah, Jason, relax. When
Is the
we're
desk
when
thing-
we're
okay.
recording, I won't do it. God, shut the up. Oh my God. You want to come over here and show me how to do it?
Get in the car, Josh. Just go down this way. Do it. All right, welcome back to Old Guys Playing Games. It's been a little bit of an. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for informing everyone who we are and making sure that you got a word in before anybody else, which we all appreciate. So we are coming back from a little bit of a hiatus. One of the old guys was imprisoned. No, sorry, he was overseas.
Yikes!
And,
he said he was overseas.
I didn't know about this.
He would have called me if he was imprisoned. And you know that's true, Ken.
You always call the richest friend you have to go.
You always call the most trusted friend you have, no matter how much money they have. Anyway, so we're back after a small hiatus, and obviously it's the vacation season, and we've got a lot to talk about today. I want to really start with a topic which we know that all of our listeners love, which is Call of Duty, because coming back and getting back into the game, there is a new season of Call of Duty. And for those of you that don't know what that means, they release usually some new content, a couple new operators, a new challenge, and some new maps in some of the games, not all
just
of
two,
the games.
Which is frustrating. Just two of the games.
Just two of the games. So who would like to give us an overview of the new games?
Wait.
Yes.
You can still earn Battle Pass in Cold War. You're just talking about there's not new content.
Yes, he believes Cold War, as he mentioned earlier today, has not been iterated in a while.
Correct.
But yet we find ourselves more and more playing it more than the other games, which is interesting. But who'd like to talk about the changes that we have witnessed in the new season?
We all know that Ken is the one that knows the name of it. None of us know the name of it.
Last Stand.
The Last Stand.
It's the final season before
it is?
go to the before they go to the new Warzone and the new game. So this is going to last us until October.
It's a long time.
So we've been playing. There's new stuff in Warzone. I'm not sure if there's any new stuff in Vanguard, but Josh was.
There's a new map,
right?
Yeah. New map.
Yeah. It's Beheaded. It's called. I played it. Yeah. It's like it's I think like
a jungle,
the Statue of Liberty. No, it's like in New York.
All right, we got to play that after this.
Ooh,
yeah, it's interesting.
Good.
It's
all right.
Interesting.
Well, let's talk about the heroes versus villains map in Warzone of Call of Duty. So who wants to give an overview of the game? Jason, you want to start us off?
Well, I hardly know the rules. It's just that you got to go. You got to get either a bomb or a bomb.
Why are we not just defaulting to Ken? He's like hunched over in pain.
Well,
he's hunched over in pain
to try
that
to
he's not doing
it.
this.
And then
I was like when Ken.
I
was like when Ken corrects everybody. I think that's more fun. It's like the teacher going,
"It's
okay,
cute how
all you idiots know."
As I explain it, it's cute how he just gives me the look like, "Oh, that's nice." That's not anywhere close to what it is, but essentially, you
thanks for trying.
Fly in with your squad, and then you get in the crates. You either get a bomb, which is glowing red, or a bomb diffuser kit, which is glowing blue. But you can also get in the crates, or as you kill people, you can get the villain or the hero glowing things. Now, when you get those, then you basically have said, I'm a hero or a villain, and then you're going to score points for that respective team.
Regardless of whether you do the bomb or the diffuse?
That is what I don't understand. I'm hoping Ken did some research on that. But you go, then there's a bunch of bombs. If you go in there with the bomb, then you arm it. But you don't just get to run away. Ken always reminds us, no, don't run away. We've got to defend this until it actually blows up. That's the gist. Now, I don't know the whole deal on how many it takes for you to finally win, because we just did one where I swear we blew up 5 or 6 and we came in 155th. But we were in second place. I don't get it.
I think all right, so I think the 155th is a glitch. I think that's a problem that we're having right now. But for the gist of it, that's pretty good, Jason. I think what they're trying to establish is a story that is going to end the series, and whether or not the good guys or the bad guys win will be determined by the players. So if enough players choose the bomb aspect of it, then those points go towards the villain side of the story. And if more people diffuse, it'll go towards the hero side of the story. And when you first go in, or actually before you go in, when you look at the last stand menu item, you'll see a bar that has villains on one side and heroes on the other, and you can kind of tell which team is winning based on how the players are playing. And currently, the villains are definitely in the lead. But you choose how to play while you're in the game. There's two ways to do that. Is one, as Jason explained, the bombs and the diffusing. Diffuses are hero, bombs are villains, and then there's also these icons, these floating icons that Jason alluded to. One of them is the villain side, the other is the hero side, and you basically get a choice on which one you want. It doesn't really do anything to you for you that I could tell, but I really like it because the map Caldera, which is the island map since we've had for a few seasons now, is in a state of destruction based on all these bombs. I mean, the peak, which is the highest point of the map, that kind of looked like it was a volcano, or a dormant volcano, is no longer dormant, and this thing is wreaking havoc, throwing lava bombs across the island as well, which is a lot of fun to try to avoid. But I like it. I like that it's an added or a change to the map, a change to the gameplay, not the normal gameplay that we've always had. It does have resurgence, which means you die, you don't have to worry about the gulag and or waiting for your friends to buy you back in. You can respawn, and it's a really good aspect of the game. So the way you win the actual game is, I think 6 is the first 6 bombs or 6 diffused will win the game. And we've gotten really close. We've been second or tied with first at least a few times so far, and it's been fun.
Yeah, I think it is fun. The thing I like about it is it combines a lot of the elements. There is a lot of gunfight. It's not like Plunder because you do have concentration points. You do have to play as a team, and we do a really good job of that, especially if we're all 4 of us are there and we're,
if you guys listen to me, then we do.
I'd like to point out that Ken and I played together, just the 2 of us, and we got second place. And every time we play with you, we get 150th
we're
place.
Hear about this,
and I don't know if that's I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's you, but I think if we play with just Josh, we might actually win.
It is a glitch that you guys came in second.
All right. Well, no, okay, but it is. I think it plays on the strengths of us as players, which I like. The other wild card that they throw in the mix is the volcano is erupting, and it shoots out giant lava rocks, which very similar to how Kong threw his big rocks around the island. But the problem is when they land, they actually have a radius of noxious volcanic gas, which will, like a gas bomb within regular multiplayer, will take you out if you're not careful. So it's actually a nice little add-in.
Does it tell you where it's going?
Yeah, because it has like a little black mark.
Yeah. I don't know. Yes, it gives you like they did with Kong and
it shows the zone.
It gives you a little bit of warning.
The other thing they have in there, I don't know if anyone saw, but they did have a mid-season event. You remember we talked about this? They put in the Terminator characters. They did the T-800 and the T-1000.
1000.
Yeah, and so the skins are sort of cool, but they never did an event like they did. Those rabid listeners of ours, remember we talked about this last time. The only cool thing we've seen so far is you can get the T-1000 gun, which is sort of cool.
That was pretty awesome. Awesome.
But other than that, it's pretty much a blah. Except every once in a while, hearing the comments from the characters is sort of cool. It's like Snoop Dogg in multiplayer, sort of cool.
It's a
he doesn't say in like Arnold that is a multi-kill. He doesn't say anything like that, but it's still sort of cool.
Well, when you're in a lobby in Vanguard and Arnold comes in, it plays the the Terminator.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part of it.
So anything else on the new season anybody wants to chime in on? No.
Nah, I mean it's I do like the
ready
game,
for
but
a new game.
Yeah, it's more of the same.
I think we are ready. I think we are ready for a new game. We're also, I'm curious to see the new. We're going to have the new Call of Duty at some point, so we'll see what it works. But I think we're hoping. We're hoping.
Has anybody besides Ken pre-ordered?
I will, but
Not
no.
yet. Soon I will.
I haven't pre-ordered yet.
You haven't?
I haven't, and the reason I haven't
Shame
is
on you.
because I'm a bit disdainful against Call of Duty. I have not bought the Battle Pass in the last 2 seasons.
What?
I'm getting really bored with it. I'm very, very concerned. I'm concerned about the new Call of Duty because remember how excited we were for
Wow.
Vanguard.
Yeah.
What if
Can
we
I-
get Chester Park?
Vanguard?
What if we get Chester Park?
Chesapeake.
Can we
You're
dig
my
in a
man.
little bit there? Can we dig in a little bit
Yeah,
there, Ken?
okay.
Are you saying that you're potentially not going to buy it? Oh, this
Yeah,
is
all right.
breaking news.
No, please.
All
You
right,
have
so
to.
as
I
you
can't play
guys
that
know,
CFD's game all the time.
as you guys know, I
under that flag.
I fall into the peer pressure thing. So I will most likely buy the game if all of you buy it. It's just one of those things where I'm not so excited about it that I'm about to jump as soon as the
That's fair.
pre-orders are available.
Okay.
That's fair.
I
I think
think we respect
hopefully
that.
we make it fun and they make it fun. I've seen some of the new graphics. It looks pretty good. The one thing I think, unless I'm mistaken, Ken, I'm hoping we have multiplayer campaign.
Cooperative campaign. They have a cooperative. They're calling it DMZ, which is it's a cooperative open world map that you can go to certain areas and do missions. This is all speculation, by the way, based on very, very little information that's been provided.
Got it.
But it sounds like it's an open world map that you can go and do missions throughout, but you're not. It's just not your team. There are other players doing something similar. It almost sounds like a war zone, but not a combative war zone. I don't know how to.
So
explain it.
so you can't battle the other teams. You just have to go from
Josh
Jack.
is out. Josh is out.
That
It's
I
like
don't know.
why am I out? Why?
Jason.
How dare you? I'm not just a blunt instrument.
No, I don't think. I think you can. I don't understand.
You know what
the
that
details yet.
It reminds me of if you've ever seen NBA 2K, I think they call it the park, and basically they just have a bunch of courts, but everybody's out there, and you step on a court to get in a game, or you can go like to the Nike store and buy stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's similar to that.
I watched
the metaverse.
my
Exactly,
son play
Jason.
that. It was actually kind of cool that you could just
Yeah, it is.
stand at a
Actually
court,
really
wait your
cool.
turn to do a
Yeah.
pickup game,
Yeah.
and you play with people you don't know, or you could pick up with your friends and play as well, which is kind of cool. That was neat.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be. I'm hoping that our friends are listening and that they know that they've got to win Ken back to the passion that he once had.
Yeah, this is breaking news. We needed the sound effect. Can we edit that in?
We can
some
put
kind
that
of-
in. No, we need melancholy. We need like a melancholy sort of, sad
Dun, dun,
solo.
dun.
A violin solo or something.
Yes. All right, so let's move on. One of the things I'm going to, since I'm running the show today, one of the things we talked about last time I think is really cool and be a fun topic to talk about is the Lego games. I know everybody sort of has the Lego games they like the most, and I really, there's something like when you say Lego games, I think just a smile that comes to everybody's face and how much fun they have. And so, who wants to start? I mean, with their favorite Lego game?
No,
Got
you
in
go.
there.
Kenneth,
Boom.
got it. Go.
Like, hot topic.
I think that my favorite one for me and my son to play started off with the Batman Lego games.
True.
With all the villains that they added and all the different things. I think it was so well done. The voices, the comedy, the mechanics of the game itself. I think it was really well done. I enjoyed that so much, and I have a lot of fond memories of playing that with my son.
For me, it was either Star Wars or I think it was Indiana Jones. Those were both good ones.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're just like you can just.
Go ahead,
Oh, you muted yourself, Josh.
Josh. We lost you.
Oh, sorry. That's my bad. I too played with the kids forever. When they were throughout the years when they were younger and trying to collect the little we call them coins, but they're just those little circular pieces, right?
Yeah.
You got to get the purple one. That's the most. But yeah, those games are awesome.
Yeah. Jason, did you have a favorite?
I have to go with Ken. I'm also partial to Batman.
Got it. I think mine was the Marvel Lego, and the reason for that is my kids played that all the time together. Which, when you have a boy and a girl separated by 2.5 years, that's not normal. And they would play it because it was very open world. It was one that was, I think, much more suitable for that kind of gaming as opposed to like the Batman ones and others, which are a little bit more you play together. So I think that was really cool. I really like, and I love the characters in that because it was traditional Marvel characters, and you got ones like the Fantastic Four and others. That was cool. I think they make those really fun, and I think the whimsical nature of those games have been something that I hope they continue as they move forward, because I think people love those games, and I think we need like some new. Well, let's just say this: it's amazing how Lego has reinvented and changed the way they do things with all the big kits they do and the expensive kits and the games and everything else. They really have become their own sort of ecosystem, just like the Marvel universe, right? So I think it's pretty cool. All right.
Yeah, the Marvel game, I think, was one of the first ones that you could actually be separate from your online. Like if you play couch co-op, which is most of how we played, you guys could be on completely opposite sides of the game. Especially if once you get to the open world, in the Marvel's Avengers one, you're in like New York, and one could be on the other side of New York and still be playing within the same game, which I thought was very, very cool. My son would be playing around with something, and I'd be trying to do a mission or something. So it was actually really neat how they did that.
No, I agree. All right, why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll hit some other cool topics, including another movie topic, which will be a surprise for everybody. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Old Guys Playing Games. We're back, and hopefully you had a nice break. Let's talk through. Well, look, I mean, I've got a couple topics we can go through. Is there anybody who want to put a topic at the top of the list?
I'll go ahead and talk. I just got back from London, and
boy, are my arms tired.
Right, exactly.
He didn't say fly. He just said God.
Yeah, exactly.
We get it. We get it.
Guys are not supposed to mess with
the joke.
But while we were there, obviously it was me, my wife, and my son, and we try to do things that entertain him as well as us. And we did a couple of things that I think were really, really fun and probably lends itself well to topics here. There's a company called Immersive Gamebox. They used to be called Electric Gamebox, but they recently changed their name. And it's a different way of doing VR. Okay, so typical VR, from what Jason would explain, would be a mask you're wearing that has a display that's shining in your face, and then it has motion sensors built in to track where you are and what you're doing. This was a room, a 4-wall white room with projection and motion tracking. So every person had to wear a visor that had those 3 motion capture balls on it. And that was how it captured your location in the room. And the game would play against 3 of the 4 walls, but even though it would project 4 walls, you could only interact with 3 of the 4. And we ended up playing 3 different games in that in the immersive game box. The first one we did was a very basic game, just to kind of get us acclimated to how it tracks us, and it was basically a Pac-Man game. You had a little character that looked like Pac-Man, and you moved him around to capture coins and avoid ghosts, and then you had to deposit those coins. So that was fun, and trying to get out of each other's way. That was the other thing, because only one person went at a time for that game. The second game was based on a aardvark claymation game based on Shaun the Sheep. And they had a bunch of little mini games. And one of the games was a trampoline. You had to keep all the sheep up in the air using the trampoline. And that was a lot of fun. And at that point, there was
sounds like exercise, Ken.
I know it was. And that was the problem initially. But they had a bunch of different mini games, and one of those was the trampoline game. But it was kind of cool to have us both on the board at the same time. Cool. The third one we did was a James Bond-esque. It was called James Bunny, I believe. The character was a bunny, but it was
Oh,
a spy. So part of it was moving the character through a maze, and then once you got to a certain door, then you had to choose a game type to get past, like whether it was a laser game or it was a puzzle game or something like that. But it took all of us at the same time moving around to manipulate the game field to get past the puzzle. So highly recommend if you have one in your area to check it out. It's a lot of fun. And it's very, very well done. The stories, the game types, and the motion capture was all really, really well done. So I highly recommend. I can enjoy that kind of motion capture VR type thing more than I can with the strapped on screens on my face. Because I'm moving and I can see I'm moving, and it doesn't get me sick at all. So I highly recommend it if you
So
get a chance.
very HoloLens,
Well,
not like on the. I mean, I'm talking about the on those like the enterprise type of HoloLens.
yeah, but it's not
Holodeck's what I'm thinking. That's what.
holodeck. Yeah, so it's very holodeck because it knows where you are in the space and it tracks your movements and your character is represented on screen. So it's actually very
Yeah.
cool.
So I want one of those where I can do the Star Trek episode with Moriarty, and then I'm good.
Agreed.
That would
so
be awesome.
Ken, if I'm curious because I went to an arcade with my son for his birthday. What was the cost of doing that?
Uh, it was about 20 or
Okay.
$30 per person.
Yeah,
But
that
it was
sounds.
the first game was a half an hour. The last two were an hour each. So
That's not bad.
Okay, wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah. Now
good.
keep in mind each one cost different. So there were three separate sessions. They weren't
Interesting.
all within the same room. There were three
Yeah,
different
okay.
sessions. But it was well worth it for us because it was one playing together as a family. Two, my fascination with video games and different ways to immerse yourself in a video game, and three, it was new technology that I really wish we had, and I think there are some here. I think there's one in Virginia.
Is
For
that
lack of
is it the
memory.
same as? I mean, I was in Austin a couple weeks ago, and there was a place called Sandbox VR. Is that the same concept, or are they truly VR?
I'll have to look that up. I
Oh
have
no,
not
I'm
heard
looking at
about
it now.
that.
They do. They have like balls on the wrists and balls.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
so
similar.
this was just a visor that you wore, and it had three balls on the visor so you had to use your entire body. It wasn't using your hands only came into play when you interact with the screen because you could touch the wall and interact with the wall, which was kind of cool. But there was no motion capture of your hands. It was really just your whole body.
Very cool. We should do one of these Sandbox VRs in Tampa, Jason. Let's get
I
some of
agree.
them.
Let's work on it.
Everybody could come and meet Mr. Metaverse at the Sandbox VR.
Ooh.
Mr. Metaverse.
All right. So that's good. Any other? So Josh, anything on the one you did with your son?
No, I mean I was just curious because the one these were the VR like with the headset like you would jump in. There was a Star Wars game and you could like use the lightsaber and stuff. But they were expensive. I think it was like $15 or $20, but it was not 30 minutes. It was like 5 minutes at the most. So I was like, no way. But
What are
it
the
was
kind of-
like I had never seen that in person. It was pretty awesome.
What are the
actually.
kind of interaction though? Did they have like? Did they
They
just
had-
have the helmet and the two handsets, or did they have anything else you can interact with?
Well, they had I assume it was a military thing because I couldn't see the video, but there were like 4 stations. You'd put the Oculus on, and then you'd have like a weapon. And I'm assuming you're walking around fighting each other or whatever it is. The Star Wars one, I think it was one handset, but that one was actually really cool. The graphics were good. And then they had this one that was some kind of like King Kong thing, and it looked terrible. Like the graphics were awful.
Yeah.
But it was the first time I'd seen that like in the wild, and it was pretty cool. But
How'd you
not
do?
for.
How'd
I
you
didn't
like
do
it?
it. I didn't
you
do
didn't?
it.
Okay.
No.
So they had a screen up that shows what the other person
For
person's
the
doing?
Star Wars one and that King Kong one, yeah, but not for the military one, or at least I didn't see it. But
See that's a good idea to have that extra monitor for the people to watch. Otherwise, it's because it's still video gaming is still a community. In my opinion, especially when you're in an arcade. you want people to kind of stand around and watch you play, or you like to stand around and watch other people play, and that's kind of cool.
Well,
But
the question,
as a VR, it's very immersive, and it's kind of hard to do that unless you have the external monitor.
yeah, no, I agree, and I think well, the one thing that'd be interesting too. What about when you can take these places and have, could you have VR sports experiences for people to rent and have be in the stadium? There's a lot of cool stuff we can think of. So it's a great topic, and I think we should do a little more research. And when we travel, if we see these other things, we should look at them. So that sounds really cool, Ken. And actually, the price doesn't seem horrible for the amount of time we're talking about. So and the fact you were able to do it as a family, that's pretty cool. So. Excellent. All right, more to come on the VR front in the metaverse. So why don't we move on? Gamescom was recent, and Jason, I know you were all in. So you want to give us a little bit of what you saw and what gets Jason excited about what you saw that's coming our way? Then maybe we'll get Ken excited to play one of these games.
I think so. There's a lot in here. I'm going to do rapid fire on a bunch of games that I saw the trailers for that look right up our alley. So I'm going to try to focus on games that I think this group will especially like. I'm going to start off with probably the biggest announcement of the week, and you have to see the trailer of this. That it's just a teaser trailer at this point. The long-awaited Dune Awakening trailer is amazing looking, and it's going to come out on all the platforms. I'll put the trailer in the show notes so that you can check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's spectacular. So if you're a Dune fan, even if you're not a Dune fan, it looks fascinating. So looking forward to that. There's another one called Atomic Heart that looks amazing. And
is that the Russian one?
That sounds familiar.
Is that the Russian one?
Does sound familiar.
That is the Russian one.
That one does look awesome. I've seen that one.
It does look super cool.
It's so pretty.
Xbox had a number of their recap video is quite long, but I scrubbed through it to find the stuff that I thought would be most interesting. If you're a fan, even if you're not a fan of the game, if you're a fan of the graphics of what they've done with Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have to see the latest, because now they've got these crazy helicopters, old vintage P-51 Mustangs. It looks so darn good, and I imagine, Stu, in your theater, it would be amazing. The other one that captured and I'm, me with comic books, I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I have to admit this, what is it called? It's called Gotham Knights, open world action RPG, where Batman's successors, Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Robin, are taking on the low-life thugs of Gotham, revealed two major villains. So Mr. Freeze, Penguin, Court of Owls, Harley Quinn, they're all in this thing. And the trailer actually looks good. I'm not a huge comic book guy, but I could be probably convinced to check that out. And then the last one that I'm sure Josh will be interested in, and I haven't played these games in a few editions. What? Madden 23, right? Have you seen the trailer for Madden 23?
No, I haven't. I haven't played Madden in years.
Right,
so
either have I. But what they've done with this addition, just super sophisticated physics and movement, and it just looks amazing. So I probably will give this one a shot if it comes into. That's an EA game? Game Pass? Yeah. It'll be in the EA. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it's Game Pass, but
it'll be EA Play.
But definitely,
have that?
I'm going to include a bunch of links.
We do, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the one last one I was going to mention was Callisto, the Callisto Protocol. Another one worth watching the trailer for. There's just a lot of really great looking games. Now, the frustrating part about something like Gamescom is you'll see these and you'll get excited. They're coming up the next month. Some of these games you might never see. Obviously, going to see Madden because that one's closer to release. But these other ones, I think, I'm hoping actually come out. Have you guys seen anything that caught your eye?
Well, the Plague Tale, the sequel to the Plague Tale, looks really, really pretty. It's based in France, early. God, I can't remember what time frame. I guess during the plague, and but it's a 2-player. I think it's a single-player game, but you play as 2 characters, 2 siblings. But it's so pretty. It's one of those games where you look at it and you're like, I normally wouldn't pick this up to play it, but it's so pretty based on the graphics and the way the gameplay is. It's worth just kind of dabbling about for half an hour or something like that. But I think long term, I wouldn't be interested in carrying that through. But I was really impressed with the graphics that they're starting to be able to show with games like Atomic Heart and this A Plague Tale. Um, it's really, I'm really excited about what's to come.
Cool. No, it's good. I mean, it's always this time of year when everything hits. Usually between October, November, December, right, for the holidays. So it'll be fun to see what we get. All right. Anything else from Gamescom 2022?
If you see some, as our loyal listeners, if you see something we missed, let us know.
Let us know on social media, please. We're all over the place. We're monitoring for anything on our social media. Anything.
Any
You mean, don't you mean it might get buried in all of the other comments we get? Is that what you mean?
If we get enough comments, maybe we'll have a meetup at some point. Maybe at big conference or big
It won't
event.
get buried. We won't get buried. We don't get a lot of comments.
Maybe
Damn it, Ken.
Sorry.
Maybe
Sorry.
CES. Maybe CES. We can have a big meetup of our listeners.
We are going to go to CES.
Wait,
We
did
are
you
going
say
to CES.
CVS or CES?
Yeah, come on, Ken. You can stay. You can stay in my room, Ken.
We're going to the
yay.
cesspool.
All right. All right. So,
Jason.
Jason, they're not going to welcome you in the city. All right. Let's. Actually, if you did have a pool at CES, would you call it the cesspool? Anyway,
All
let's
right,
let it go.
move it on.
All right. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, there's a couple things. So, and actually they both go together. And it goes back to a Stu rants, and I think it's a good thing, is there's been a lot of, with Warner Brothers being sold to Discovery, what we're starting to see is the adults are maybe in charge now. And there's a big push to what we've been talking about for a long time. And, I think we've all been talking about that the content on social media has gotten a little bit out. Not social media. The content on streaming services has gotten out of hand, and it seems the quality has been really sort of bad. And I think it's because they were all sort of flush with cash trying to win the viewership numbers and everything else, but they were putting out some pretty bad content. Now, we all know there's some really great content out there. And when we find it, and you see how viral it goes when people find it. But obviously with what we're finding out is, with Warner Brothers being sold to Discovery, that they were really losing a ton of money. And they're starting to cancel a bunch of stuff in order to, I think, reset back to the core of what their brands are, which I think is going to be a good thing for us. One of those things that started, I think ultimately, yeah. I mean, they're canceling a bunch of things that I think they're taking the write-offs on, right, to get their house in order. One of the things that started on Sunday, because I ranted on the new Rings of Power, which I think is going to be horse pucky, but the new House of Dragons came out last Sunday, and it was good. It was good. I think it's.
I haven't seen it yet, so
I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but I'll say that from for those that don't know, and this doesn't give anything away, Josh, it happens a couple hundred years prior to the Game of Thrones.
Wait, it does?
And
you just ruined the whole thing.
And it revolves around the House Targaryen,
Khaleesi?
and the family of yes, and it is an interesting. It revolves around a 13-year-old girl, and her father and others. But it is really interesting in that it seems to be done by George R.R. Martin. It seems to be inside the vein. First episode was really good at sort of setting up sort of the world we're in and why it's different than the others. So I'm excited about seeing episode 2 to see where it goes. They're all new characters, so that's always tough. But I think I'll give them an A- for the first episode. So I think
wow, that's saying something from Stuart.
Wow, seriously, Stuart.
Because they could have screwed it up, right?
They could what all the fanboys were saying, and he
no.
You're giving him extra credit for not screwing it up. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, actually, I am, and you know what? And Ken, I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with. Teachers. I'm sorry. We've all gotten a grade with effort included. This is effort, right? So you came to class, you get a sticker, right? Everybody gets an extra 5 points. So I mean, we're going to see where it goes, but it's one of those things. Back to the previous thing, like if you're going to go into the House Targaryen when you know what their history is, you know about the dragons and all that. Don't then take away the dragons or don't take away the story. Like it's so far, it seems really good, and all of the characters in it, they're all the different types of characters, seem to have story arcs that go with their characters. That's important.
once a show.
Story arcs. Story arcs.
It's important. So for those of you who haven't seen it, so I've got I am hoping beyond hope that DC Comics gets everyone there gets fired and they start over again, but we'll see.
Hope dies last, right, Stuart?
I'm serious. I think DC Comics, except for Batman right now, which is the only thing that sells for them, is horrible.
I know you're looking forward to Black Adam.
Actually, I was never a huge Shazam fan, but I think Black Adam is going to be fine. It is interesting. So they delayed. Yeah, no, they're going to be fine. They delayed. Big news, right? They delayed Flash and they delayed Shazam. Flash.
No, this isn't their first delays.
I love Flash Gordon.
They've been delayed 2 or 3 times already.
Oh my God, jeez.
By the way, that movie. That is a great movie, by the way. That's up there with Big Trouble in Little China as one of those classic cult movies.
Ming the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless. Dive. With my beard, I can do that. Dive. Anyway. I should dress up like that as Halloween. That'd be awesome, by the way. Anyway. All right, so that was it for that. Anybody else anybody want to comment on that? If not, we'll move past it.
I just had to Google.
I'm looking forward to it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Watch it.
Thank you for not spoiling it. I just Googled horse pucky because I'd never heard that term before.
I didn't want to use it. You never heard of horse pucky?
I assumed what it was,
sheltered.
but maybe.
Wow.
In some ways I am.
Okay, so all right, topics. I'm going to open it up before we get to the movies. Any other topics anybody wants to talk about?
No. Dead air. Air.
All right. So let's do movies. I was trying to think in honor of both Ken and I coming back from the islands around Britain. I was not in a British Isle. I was in Ireland, and not so. Well, I guess I was Northern Ireland, but I don't want to get into that debate. So coming back from the UK, I thought it'd be sort of cool as we think about British movies. What are those movies from the islands around the UK that is most memorable to you? And what pops in your head? So I'm going to start with the guy that came back the soonest. Ken, I'm going to start with you. What is your, and it can be more than one, but when you think British movies, what's your what's at the top of your mind? What popped in your head?
I think the first thing that always pops in my head is Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels.
Oh, that's good. It's close to mine. That's really good.
Josh looks up. Josh,
no, because you just reminded me. You just reminded me of my choice. Thank you.
It's
not Lock, Stock. It's not Lock, Stock.
Right.
It's close to what?
It's probably the sequel. But anyway.
Well, not sequels, really. But
it's one of Guy Ritchie's first films that went like global. And it's so well done, and I think what really, for myself, I'm a big fan of England and London and the vernacular and the history and all of that. So hearing these guys talk, who are these are street thugs, you know, and the vernacular that they use, that just made the film for me, because it was realistic and that's how they really talk. You know, it's none of this what's the hoity-toity English films, you know.
Those people are there too, Ken. You just
they speak perfect English and all that. You know, it's this is definitely a dark and gritty comedy crime film, and it's so well done. It's one of the first films I think I remember seeing Jason Statham. I don't know if it was his first film, probably not, but it was the first one I ever saw.
But it's the one that put Ritchie on the map, right? Was that before Reservoir Dogs or after? Didn't he do that?
Well, he didn't do Reservoir Dogs.
Oh, he didn't.
That's Tarantino.
Oh, my bad. That's right.
Come
on.
No, but if you go back and look at the Guy Ritchie films, you most likely have seen most of them, if not all of them. And if you haven't seen all of them, I highly recommend it, because he has a very unique way to tell a story on screen, and he's really, really, really good at what he does.
Cool. I think it's a great choice. Who wants to go next, Josh?
I'll probably take Jason's now, but Snatch.
Yeah, that wasn't it, but that's close.
Thank you for saying Lock, Stock, Ken, because I did not even have that in my head. Snatch is fantastic. It's like it's all the stuff you talked about, but to me, the characters I like better in Snatch than I do in Lock, Stock. Between Bricktop and Brad Pitt's in there, and it's just there's so many great lines and situations in that movie. It's amazing. It's so well done.
The gypsies, that whole thing is great.
Like you could put this like the subtitles on just for Brad Pitt, and
You almost
the
have to.
and the gypsies. It's like but it was like a specific option. It was like what are they called? It's like
They
pikeys
they call them pikeys in the film.
but it was like it was an option just only for them. It was
Yep.
it was just so good. Oh man, I gotta rewatch that. It's so good.
Very cool. All
love
right, so I see a theme here. Most of these are the '90s kids. So, Jason,
Yeah, I'm going to continue the theme, and it's
Mary Poppins.
is it a movie that you are going to go back to and watch over and over again? Is it something that you would talk about with the same sort of smile and joy as you just did with those two movies? No, but it had an impact, and it's like forever, just
Build up.
burned into my. No, but it's similar theme. Trainspotting. That's like
that's
early
a
Ewan
rough one.
McGregor,
That's a rough one.
really rough, right? Drug scene in Edinburgh, like it's really rough, but it's a phenomenally done movie. Probably could never make that movie again. But one of those, like, as soon as you said the theme today, that's exactly what came into my head. If you haven't seen it, it's one to watch. It's one that will have an impact. And interestingly, on the list of the 25 best British films ever, it's number 7.
Oh wow! No, I can see that. I mean, it's a phenomenal. It's a genre movie.
Important actor to watch in that is Johnny Lee Miller as Sick Boy. Johnny Lee Miller is one of the most talented actors I have ever seen. He, I noticed him again when I started watching
More than Jean-Claude Van Damme.
more than
Blood sports.
Okay, we're gonna do karate movies at one point.
So
there's nothing better than Bloodsport. Okay, go. Sorry, Ken, go.
He played modern day, detective, British detective. God, what's his name? I'm sorry, my brain is still
Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
Thank you. He played a modern day Sherlock Holmes based in New York on a TV series.
Oh,
recently.
that was that Sherlock. No, what did they call it? No,
It wasn't called Sherlock. It was called
Elementary.
Yes, thank you. But as I was watching that and realizing what a great actor he is on that show, I started to look into him, and he does a 2-man show with Benedict Cumberbatch where they do the play of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Ooh.
And every night they trade roles.
Oh wow!
So they have to memorize their roles, both roles, and they flip flop every night and play each other's role.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I saw an interview with Benedict, and he said I still have trouble keeping up with Johnny Lee Miller because he's always on it. He's never missed a beat, and even Benedict said he's one of the most fantastic actors I've ever worked with. So
he is great.
Pay attention to him. He's really good.
Wow. Well, all right. So I guess it's my turn. I have so many to go for. My genres are all over the place. My brain went to like a Braveheart or I even thought about things like, Hot Fuzz, some just funny movies, Dunkirk, those kind of movies. But I think, and one of my favorites of all time, Holy Grail, which is one of the most brilliant. But I'm going to go with From Russia with Love.
Oh wow,
James Bond. That movie, number one, is because anytime that's on in our family, it's on the TV. But I think that is the quintessential James Bond to me. It's serious enough that it's serious. It's got a little bit of funny in it. It's got a little bit of chauvinistic in it, which was what James Bond was in the 60s. It's a quintessential 60s spy movie. And it's just one of those ones, like every time I watch, I'm like, that's the one. I mean, you can look at Goldfinger and all the other ones, but that's the one I think that just right before I got a little too corny. So, and I love so many of the serious movies like Zulu, or there's so many great British movies in the 50s and 60s. Bridge Over the River Kwai, which
I knew that's what you were going to say.
I love that movie. I own it. It's one of the great.
For you.
That's a great movie.
To say that,
but
Lawrence of Arabia is number one on that list.
But Jason, you changed. Lawrence, I own that too. But another great movie. But you changed my mind when you said that you could watch it over and over again. Or you said you could That's From Russia with Love. I can watch that every time it's on. My wife will watch it. I'll watch it.
It's great.
And since there's lots of memories, that's the one I'll put at the top of the list.
Love it.
I agree. And for the listeners that know me, I apologize for not mentioning a James Bond film.
Oh, yeah.
I am a huge James Bond fan, as Stuart is as well. And I did not mention a James Bond film because I could not narrow them down.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
There are, I would say
we should do this as a future topic.
They ranked for me all of the ones that were with
Connery.
Sean Connery, and then none of the ones
With Roger Moore.
none of the rest.
Nice.
I think
Craig.
a good topic instead of the movie would be just the James Bond that
Yes.
you prefer the most.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
I
think
would
we all know-
argue Roger, not the best, but I would argue.
Shh.
Oh
Anyway,
wow, we got to
go ahead.
fight. We got to fight. We got to fight.
We'll talk about it on.
Oh, I see.
Next episode.
I see a Lotus Esprit in our future. Okay, well, so that was a great topic, and I think it is one where we the movie topics. We should maybe start a movie podcast because or we should turn half of this one into. So I think I think that's it for today. I think we've hit a lot of things. I think we've got a lot of it's fun to host. It's fun to be in charge, and for Jason to interrupt me for a change, which was really good. So I think that's going to be a wrap. So for Old Guys Playing Games, I'm Stu.
I'm Jason.
I'm Josh.
I'm Ken.
And we're out of here.
But the only reason we hit that is because we talked about it at the beginning.
That's right.
Well, the only reason we got this because Stuart hosted.